And the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor? Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to do honor more than him to himself?
Right, he started both and said, you know what? The only thing the king can promote is me. I ain't seen nobody else. And this is wickedness. The Lord going to make it wickedness sin against him. Watch it.
And Haman answered the king for the man. And Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delight to honor, let the royal apparel be brought with the king useth to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which is set upon his head, and let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man withal whom the king delighted to honor, and bring him on horseback throughout the street.
So this Edomite thinking is he.
Yeah. So he's bigging him up. You understand? Throughout the street of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighted to honor. Then
so out of the wicked mouth comes the Lord blessing upon Israel. He that bless Israel shall be blessed, that curse Israel, the Lord will curse you.
Then the king said to Haman, make haste and take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew, that sitteth at the king's gate.
What did the king do? He said, take that royal thing that you're thinking about, do unto Mordecai the Jew. Because he was worthy in my sight. Well, he saved my life from death. But go ahead, continue, go three over one.
That sitteth at the king's gate, let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken. Meaning everything is now saying?
Yeah, do it unto Mordecai. Yeah,
verse 11. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse and array Mordecai, and brought him on horseback throughout the street of the city, and proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor. Verse 12. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hasted to his house, mourning and having his head covered. And Haman told Zeresh his wife and all his friends everything that had befallen him.
So in other words, Haman, he was crying now, but
he was crying. He said that ball. He said that ball and ball. Hey, the king. I thought it was me, the king. He said to bring up Mordecai. So you know what? He said, he's telling his wife, Zeresh, hey, girl. My honor going on the train. I can imagine he made you too slap too.
As the scripture say, you know, the child must be with him but for a moment.
Exactly.
Well, befallen him. Then said his wise men and Zeresh his wife unto him, if Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him.
Wow, the wife started to prophesy and say, hey, you know what? If that man is of the seed of the Jews who the king promoted, you will be able to promote against him, because from we hear good information, the God of them people doesn't let them know.
And even God goes to show that even the heathens know that, hey, we better.
Hey, they know the...
Yeah, when you read
Ammonite. They know about the fame of the God of Israel.
If they go before them, if they go before them, nobody tells you. They pass by, no harm.
What was that going on with, they said eventually it transfers, I guess, you know.
And he don't knew that too, because remember, they remember starting with King David, you know.
Yeah, for real.
So they know that the Israelites, as always in Deuteronomy chapter 4, they say they're more wise and you know, they're
wiser than Daniel.
No, they are great people that have such laws now, but then they know that the laws above them. It's like they know anything.
Now we'll come to verse 20.
Nation that go up against Israel.
Yeah, jump from there to verse 20. Alright, let me read up what you get here. Go ahead, verse 7.
Right, it says, it shall not prevail against him, but shall surely fall before him. And while they were yet talking with him, came the king chamberlain, and hasted to bring Haman unto the banquet that Esther had prepared. So the king and Haman came to the banquet with Esther the queen, and the king said again unto Esther on the second day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed, even to the half of the kingdom. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if I please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request. For we are sold, and my people to be destroyed, to the slain, and to perish. But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue.
So if you notice with Israel, that we creating all the time with Israel, bondmen and bondwomen, we always scared, we always be sold. Well,
I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not contravail the king's damage. Right, verse 5. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he and where is he that does presume in his heart to do so? And Esther said, the adversary and enemy. The adversary.
What is another word for adversary?
Enemy.
Right?
Devil.
Satan.
Yeah,
Satan. So you know what? So what you want? Imagine that. So what Esther was saying, that wicked Satan eventually.
Devil.
Yeah, the devil. So we say, you know what? Satan, adversary, devil, which is deceiver.
Go back to Revelation.
Haman.
Revelation 2.
Come again.
And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. Right? Right. 6.
Chapter 7 verse 6.
Right. Yeah, and Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen. And the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden. And Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen, for he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king.
Let me say something, right? So what the king did when Haman find favor in the king's sight, right? The king gave Haman the ring to perform whatever he requests, right? And as we say, when he say the adversary, which go back, another word for adversary is Satan, or devil, which means deceiver. He was deceiving the king by using his signet to make the decree on all the letters that was sent out, that was published to the
against Mordecai, against the Jews. And you know what? And the Lord sought him out and said, you know what? The king said, but wait a minute, is that what you're doing? And Mordecai is the man that saved my life?
Because he make it seem as if it's because the Jews was keeping the laws and the statutes. That was the reason why he wanted to destroy us. But it really wasn't that. It's because it's hatred for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Even that goes to show that when Esther bust the mark, that's why he was afraid, because the king didn't really know what was his device now, wherever he had planned. Yeah. Because he was deceiving the king too.
Well, so determined against him by the king, verse 8. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the palace of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house?
Wow.
As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. And Habonah, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold, also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king standeth. For the king standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon.
So walk on.
All praises to Yahweh.
So make that for it says, and Habonah, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold, also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. So the chamberlain coming and was telling the king, because what Haman do, he make it look like the king power the order to make the gallows.
Yeah.
So that's why he said, behold, also the gallows 52 the tribe, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king. So he speaks, saying, hey, the king said,
Just the other way saying that the Lord sent the uneasiness to the king because he said he couldn't sleep that night.
Yeah.
So he just gave just off the bed and I can't sleep. But wait now. Wait till this man do good for me, I ain't do nothing.
Yeah.
And I to be king and I have all this money and all this.
Yeah.
You understand? I ain't do
That's
nothing.
one other point, but the point where you say, well, he also forced the queen now.
Oh,
You got the entry, but down in me and begging her, holding her dress, and so you can say, you trying to rape my queen now? Let's say,
The king had a course. The king course and say, wait a minute. That way you do it?
You only need now, grass.
You're the reason my girl dressed
Yeah,
that way.
that was going on there.
Yeah.
Verse 10. So they hanged Haman.
And the Lord sent us spirit on
So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified. So like, yeah.
What we say, Rich? Jump to verse yeah. It's a Purim. Jump to Purim.
I will go down to 26,
6 and
25. Start from
25,
Chapter
yeah.
9 verse 25.
Right. This is the book of Esther, chapter 9 and 25. It says,
Right.
but when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows.
So for those who listen to this video, this feast we keep in, which is Purim, it is a statue, a law, a statute, a commandment, everything in one. This is a statue before the Lord. This is the day when the Lord delivered our forefathers from the hand of these wicked Persian, the East Indian, and these Iraqis. You understand what I'm saying?
It's like I have a quick reset here.
Well,
Job 27 and 13. This is the portion of a wicked man with Yahweh, and the heritage of oppressors which they shall receive of the Almighty. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widow shall not weep. Right? Though he heap up silver as the dust and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on. The innocent shall divide the silver.
He said by the just. I wonder, hold on. And what did Mordecai do? But all what he prepared for himself to feel like he was proud, Lord made the just, which is Mordecai, put on the raiment and was a star in the kingdom of Shushan.
And that's so deep. That's so deep and all too, right? That even going into what going on right now. They heaping up the silver and gold and right now. For what? For the elect. You understand?
Because the kingdom of heaven is given unto
because
us.
say if their children be multiplied, right? Like throughout the years, you understand? All the years, right?
Remember, he was boasting about that too. You see, now you have plenty of children.
Yeah.
He was boasting about that. Yeah, you have a multitude of children.
Friends and wife.
Yeah.
But that be from 15 there.
Yeah, Job 27 and 50. Those that remain of him shall be buried in debt.
Right, and that Esau had to pay for the forefathers because remember them children who yesterday had to pay that debt. You understand? That bill is an outstanding bill. That bill real high. You understand? They had to pay that bill. Right? Let's read a little bit more.
And his widows shall not weep.
Widow shall not weep. Read that.
And even just still up here, I said buried in death and buried in regeneration. God's spirit, reincarnation. Them same spirits who here today to
Seeing that after receive the same judgment.
And the widows shall weep for himself, but them go and cling to the men of the Lord.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
wash.
Yeah, my woman go and cling to the men of the
Like
Lord.
when we cleaning some toenails and massaging some hands and everything on the legs and these
Yes,
things.
that's the one.
On the same topic that you were speaking about, this is book of Psalms chapter 10 and verse 2. The wicked in his pride don't persecute the poor. You know, and as we see back there, as you brother read in Esther, showing you how Haman, you know, the so-called Edomite, wanted to persecute and kill out the Jews, the Israelites, right? Let's say, let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined.
Yeah, all that time, RFID chip and all them things that they prime. And this time in here, you don't say it will fall back on, all of that going to fall back on them. But we say no.
Also to add, just as it happened to Hammond, you know, the devices are the gallows.
Same thing in this time, yeah. Wait till the device, the RFID chip and all them, the device for us in this time.
Yeah, that's the ultimate.
Yeah, you
Like CBM.
Bombs like no
Bombs,
that didn't fall on them same way.
It's going to fall on them, America will be destroyed by nuclear fire.
But everything is falling on us.
Well,
Right?
verse 20, jump to verse 20.
26.
Or 26.
It says, wherefore they call these days Purim,
Because it says what?
Purim, after the name of Pur. Therefore, of all the words of this letter and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, verse 27. It said, the Jews ordained and took upon them and upon their seed and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing and according to their appointed time every year.
Well,
And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city, and that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them.
This is a feast where the Lord delivers from the hands of our enemy. And he's about to do it. Purim is a very spiritual feast. It's about, just think what we partake in it, the Lord is about to do it again against the Edomites here. Where?
And even just just like Passover, when they're eating the herbs and the lamb, or you're supposed to eat it in haste and in remembrance,
How we went through,
what we went through and the things that happened.
Because Israel last time was on the run, so we had to move. So that's why we couldn't afford to slow down and take the time.
I want to be on the move, and you want to eat something quick. Yeah, munch down that. That's yeah, the boots on, yeah.
So that way, he said that it's a form of burial. And it's something from generation to generation. Every year.
God is giving something.
Remember Lord's feast this is a statue. This is what you call a statue.
And so like, as how we wake up into the truth, we practice the righteous act. By holding the feast days and all the feast days, Sabbath and Passover, all these things. So, hey,
to the best of your ability. To the best of your ability.
Yeah. The memorial of them perished, from their seed, meaning that will like perish from the seed coming down the generation, go down now by the children.
Now I say from year to year now.
Exactly. Every year.
What was the reach?
29. Right? It say, then Esther the queen, the daughter of Abihail, and Mordecai the Jew wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim, and he sent the letters unto all the Jews to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Ahasuerus, with words of peace and truth, to confirm these days of Purim in their times appointed according to Mordecai the Jew, and Esther the queen had enjoyed them, and as they had decreed themselves, and for their seed the matters of the fasting and their cry, right? And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book. And the king Ahasuerus laid a tribute upon the land and upon the isles of the sea.
So that you see what? King
Ahasuerus
laid a tribute, right? Now, even when you watch in the Persian kingdom, right? To the king's servants, the high men, right? Which was what Edomites that who persecuted us, but it wasn't really the Median Persians. So go ahead,
Right, it says, lay tribute upon the land and upon the isles of the sea, and all the acts of his power and of the might and of the declaration of the greatness of Mordecai, whereunto the king advanced him, and they And they not written, oh yeah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the King
of the Medes and the Persian. That is why Cyrus, king later on in line, you will have another king in the Medes called Cyrus. But he will liberate Israel because why his heart did not dwell on them enough. They wash their hands on God. So the Persian after Ahasuerus, the rest of the king did not dwell on them. That's why God could have used Cyrus to liberate and to bring back the tabernacle. You know what I'm saying? And after he built it in 70 AD, Titus and Vespasian doing it up. You all understand what I'm saying? Yeah. That is what went through.
Let's finish it off and say, for Mordecai the Jew was next unto King Ahasuerus, and great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people, and speaking peace to all his seed.
All his what?
All his seed.
Yeah. So this feast that we celebrate is a statue before the Lord called Purim. It's the day that the Lord delivers from the Persian, and then the Persians get to realize the God of Israel is the only true and living God. Ahasuerus made that known. So when Cyrus later on could understand, but wait a minute, my forefather, which is Artaxerxes, he said that the God of the Jews pay respects to him. That it was easy for him to say, no, let us go and bring that, let us make sure that God will get angry with me and build back the temple in Jerusalem. Can? We give all glory and honor to your power. Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rekakodash. You say double honors to your apostles and elders of great mention that do well. Salutation to all the brothers all over the world that preaching this truth. To the aquas and the sin and linen, we say shalom. Now this is a feast, you know, where even the sisters and all could rejoice because Esther was she was a sister, right? So all praise to Ba'ashem Yahushai. You know, so until that day we say shalom.
Face Easter all the time.